data is important for us. Whether you utilize the data for your analysis, whether you utilize it for your analytics, data is what should be available at your end. Without data, you will not be in a better position to do any sort of analysis and analytics. So data is very important. So why, just unmute yourself. Hello. Hello. Just mute yourself, please. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Okay. So when you have the data, which is very important for our analysis and important, why is it that we feel that data is very important and we have to do analysis and important? Basically, because when we talk about hello,
somebody is on the
yes. Prabhat, can you mute yourself, Prabhat?
Okay, no worries. I've done it. Okay, so when we talk about this particular data, you have to think that HR collates a lot of data along with it, whether it's for recruitment, whether it's for absence management, whether it's for post-security cases, compensation, whether it's for training, whatever HR processes you are doing it. There is a huge humongous data that you have in your department. And that is the closest thing that comes to your mind is that what data I have, what will I do with this particular data? That is more important. So you have to think through that the data is available, but then what is the importance of this particular data to get away with it, right? So as you see, you collect a lot of data, and data sets are available in the organizations. So when you are collecting this particular data, you also ensure that the transitional data gets updated on its own. For example, if I have got a qualification of MBA, then I would like to tell the HR department, hey, Arun has done MBA in HR, please update your records, right? It could be an addition in the family, could be a detail of performance management, could be details of your leave, could be details of your appraisal, training, whatever it is. The data which is, you have it, it keeps on updating at home. So you build the historical data over a period of time. And when we keep on talking about this particular data, it is just not the data collection. It is what you will have to extract it to analyze that for your getting the information. And that information, you can churn it to get the insights. So as analysis is for information, because when you have the data, you keep on analyzing, okay, why is my recruitment trend really going down? Okay, that's a good sign of it. Or if the recruitment trend is really going up, then it's a cause of concern. Or if the exit interview you're doing, and if you're doing all your due diligence in taking the causes and the reasons for the people leaving it, that is just an analysis you are doing it, but you're not performing any analytics over there, right? Whether the attrition rate is going high, whether the attrition rate is going up, it depends upon how the organization would like to take it. So you collect a lot of data only to analyze and to report. So that becomes your information. Ki mera attrition rate itna upar kya hai, right? But when you do analytics, you are forecasting. You're getting into the future to know that whether my attrition rate will still go up or whether it will be controllable or whether it's showing a downward trend. So analysis gives you information. Analytics draws you into the future. That is getting the insights as to what the forecast is, what the trends are, right? So so HRA or the human resource analytics, or you call it as talent analytics, basically for the talent purpose, or you call it as workforce analytics because workforce are nothing but the employees itself. So you call it by any name. It is defined as an area where you are analyzing the data of the people that is available. And as Nagaraj was saying, it is the employee data that you have got it. When you talk about HR data, it's nothing but the data of the employee, be it for any purpose that you have utilized it. And you are applying some of the analytical processes over there, be it a usage of a tool, maybe usage of a technique, maybe usage of some other processes, which will help you to perform your analysis as well as draw the analytics part about it, right? Is there any new field which has come into thing which we have to take care about it? Is there something that is difficult for us to adopt it? Is there something that is out of the way that we have to do something? Nothing like that. As part of your own normal functioning, you can perform a little bit of your predictive analytics on a day-to-day basis, taking a smaller chunk of information, smaller chunk of data, and working on this for your analysis, for your reporting. So yes, HR can definitely do it. It is not a rocket science. Unless you have some complex data which you have to work, a huge data, then you have to have some complexity. Otherwise, it's not so difficult to work on it. Now, when you are building a case for an HR analytics within your department, what is that important to know is that what is important for the business? What is important for the business, you have to know, right? So you have to ask the right question as to why I should be doing this thing. For example, your manager asks you, give me an employee data. Now you said, okay, sir, I will work on it. Now you started working on it. 2 hours, 4 hours, the whole day has gone. You're still working on it. The manager comes and, hey, what when I asked you a simple report, you're not able to give me. Now the manager asks you to give a report. You're telling, sir, I'm working on it. The whole of the day is gone here. When I'll report to my stakeholders or to my business owner or to my managers, if you take so much of time. Did you ask the right questions? You wanted employee data. What set of a data you wanted, sir? Was it related to appraisal? Was it related to training? Was it related to performance thing? Was it related to compensation? Was it related to something else that you wanted it? No, you didn't ask it, but you started working on your own assumptions, which is not correct. So ask the right questions, unless and until you are very clear about the why, the other what, when, how, all those things, will go for a toss. So ask those right questions, why I'm doing this thing. Then when you are doing it, you will be selecting the right set of data. And within the data, you will have a huge data. How to narrow down the data is very important. So when you narrow down the data, from the possible data, you get the potential data. From the potential data, you will be able to get the real set of data. And that is where, when you narrow it down through a funneling exercise, the real data is the one on which you will be working. That makes sense for you to work, because a huge set of data may not lead to anything else. But when you narrow down the data and select a proper selection by slicing and dicing, you will be getting the right set of data on which you will be able to analyze and do your analytics. Now, while you are in the process of selecting the data, ensure that the data is cleaned. Ensure that the data is clean. What I mean by cleaning is that the data should be qualitative. The data should be qualitative. I am repeating these things. The data should be reliable. The data should be, consistent. For example, if I'm saying Mr. Nagaraj, now I define Mr. Nagaraj. Now you see the title of Mr. M-R capital dot, M capital R small dot, M-R small no dot. You see the difference between these things. I'll give you another example, a date format. I'm defining 27th March 2021. I'm defining 27/03/21. There is no 20 now. I'm defining 03, 21 and 2021. Now do you see a variation? Now imagine when you are doing this particular data, it is very, very important to ensure that the data cleansing is done, so that your data will give you the right analysis, will give you the right analytics to perform. For example, if there is no data in a particular column or a row, the data will be missed out. It will not be possible for you to get the calculator. So that is very important. That is very, very important to ensure. Based on that, only your analysis will come out clearly. And that analysis can lead to your actionable insights. So when the data itself is great to have, the great to calculate, the great to analyze, then only you'll be in a better position to report that data through your some insights. And that insights will lead to better outcomes or better decision making by the managers or by the stakeholders or whosoever the decision makers are. So those will give you the right insights, because the insights will lead you to ensure that what exactly is my foreseeable trends, what exactly is my forecast, what is my future analytics showing, whether the trend is on the downward, whether the trend is on the upward. Depending upon that, you will be in a better position to work on it. So when you're building a business case, ensure that these important points are taken care into the organization. Now, if I am doing my HR process in my organization and I'm day in, day out doing a lot of things, whether it's on performance, training, compensation, HR, transitional data, and all those things. But what is that advantage I would be getting? Just 1 minute, guys. Somebody is joined here. Okay, no worries. Okay, so what are the advantages if I have to really perform some of the HR analytics tasks? First thing, it improves your own HR performance. How? Because you are trying to bring in your own efficiency, effectiveness, and impact. I derive these three important elements in any HR functions or in any work that you do normally, just not HR, maybe finance, marketing, anything. These are the three things which you have to remember, guys. Bringing in your own efficiency, bringing in your own effectiveness, and you have to create an impact. If that impact is not created, that visibility will not come to anybody in the organization. That differentiation, that value add is what you will be doing when you're improving your own performance, and especially if you're doing an HR analytics activity. While you're doing this particular activity, what are the things which come to your mind? One is to ensure that the talent acquisition is done properly. Now, how do you ensure talent acquisition is properly? Having the right source, right? The right source could be your LinkedIn, could be your print advertisement, could be your social media, could be your employer referral, whatever sources you have got. You have to identify it as the right source of talent, so that in future you will be spending less time and being much more effective in drawing the talent out of that particular source. The other thing is to ensure a couple of other performance indicators are there. Like, what is the time to hire? If you are taking 20 days, 30 days, 40 days to hire a talent in your organization, then imagine the time to hire. Means by the time you have started your process, manpower budgeting, approving the position and all those things, you will be taking so much of time through the processes, collecting the data, collating it, seeing, doing a suitability matching of the particular CVs, sieving through the CVs, and then conducting interviews, whatever the processes are, right? And then asking the talent to get the offer letter and then asking him to join you. It may take 1 week, 1 month, 2 weeks, 2 months, who knows, right? So by the time the talent comes to your organization, the process has taken, say, 40 days. It could have taken even 50 days, 60 days also. Right? If you're hiring a huge number, it would have taken a lot of time. So where is that effectiveness comes into your organization? Whether the time to fill, correct? What are the best sources of talent? There are so many parameters which you will have to consider. The other second thing which the emphasis organization lays down is in the attrition. It is just not collecting the exit interview and let go. Oh, manager has relieved him. I have nothing to do. As HR, you have to do much more than even the manager, because you are the one who has recruited into the organization. You are the one who are in relationship with him day in, day out. As HR, you have to get connected with the people, because your role is people management. So don't fill your exit interview and keep quiet. Ask, go to the root cause, find out the real causes for it. What will help them to retain the talent? Because one of your tasks is not to only attract, but to nurture and develop the talent as well as to retain the talent. That is the basic function of any HR. Right? So go to the attrition and look at the causes and how best you will be able to control that attrition rate will what make a much of difference. And when you're performing these very functions, apart from this, there are various other functions also which you can do. You'll be in a better position to predict the demand of the skills and the positions or the talent that you require within your organization. For example, if you are working in an IT organization, you would know that where my resources are deployed, who are on the bench, who is supposed to be given pink slip, who are the next set of talents I need to recruit, right? So all this data, when you collect, keep on collecting, you'll be in a better position to do the prediction of the forecasting, that this is what is the trend, this is what I should be acting. Because prediction forecasting may or may not happen. You may not take your umbrella or raincoat because it is summer season outside, but all of a sudden cloudy season and too much of humidity outside, rains come in. But you have not collected the raincoat or the umbrella, and you get stuck up at 6 o'clock when it's still raining, right? So forecasting may or may not happen, but at least it is giving you a forecasting trend. What is the trend moving towards, right? So that is where you will be in a better position to bring in your value add to. Thereafter, when you do all this particular activity, you would be acting as a catalyst agent for the business. You would be acting as a strategic partner for the organization. Have you heard about finance as a strategic partner, marketing as a strategic partner? Anybody of you have heard? Finance is a strategic partner, marketing is a strategic partner. Yes or no?
No.
No, but why only HR is a strategic partner? Why? Because HR knows the inside and the outside, the inner environment and the outside environment. What is happening inside, they know very well, and how to gel with the various tasks, various functions, they know about it. Vis-a-vis keeping in touch with the outside environment, what my competitors are doing, where is the IT heading to, where is the national trends moving to, what is the industry standards. They have to keep a tab on all this information. Based on that, they will be able to work inside and see that they are fulfilling all those things. For example, let's say Infosys is giving 3.5 salary to a fresher engineer. Wipro gives 3.2. TCS gives you 3.25. So if you see the generic trend is 3.25, 3.5 maximum, correct? But if you are keeping a tab on the information which is you are having it, it will help you to get the right talent within your organization. If the person who is coming into your organization and tells you that, no, madam, this organization is giving me 4 lakhs, then you will say, okay, fine, please go ahead, no problem. But you will not be able to draw the right talent. So, but if you have information as to what is the national standard or what is the industry standard, what is the outside industry really performing, you would know about it. So you are keeping a pulse on all these things which are happening internally and externally, and that you can bring in the best employee engagement initiative. or the organizational intervention, which will help the employees to relate to the organization and try to make the organization a great place to work. It is your role to bring in that particular change, that value add, those things which will definitely help the employee to return to the work and feel good about it, right? So you act as a catalyst agent, bringing a particular transformation, bringing a particular change within an organization. Is HR analytics important? Yes, the reality today is that HR is trying to cope up with this particular new emerging trend, and they collect a lot of data from various sources, right? It is just not the HR, maybe from various sources, right, within the organization from different departments, but they have to ensure that it is cleaned, structured, qualitative, reliable, and easily accessible. If the data is available but it's not accessible, then you cannot do anything. For example, let's say Infosys has got 20 employees in the HR. 5 people are handling compensation, 5 people are handling recruitment, 5 people are handling training, 5 people are handling compensation and all those things. But here, if you see, there is a buckets which are created. Now, if some person is working in the compensation, he or she would know only about the compensation. He or she would not be knowing any recruitment related data. But that data is easily accessible to you also, depending upon the sensitivity of the data, and I think you will be able to work on it. But if there is a bifurcation done that you will be handling only this thing, you will be handling only those particular departments. You will not get a very holistic view about the total HR departmental working. So it should be easily accessible. Which tool you will be using for your analysis makes a big sense. Why? Because slowly, steadily, you will come to know the various tools that you will be using it. Very easily is the one Excel tool, which normally people over the world they use it. Almost about 60 to 70% of the people work on Excel tool, and they use the various features and functions that Excel provides with it. So they are able to analyze it, draw inferences, and all those things. But even the Excel tool can give you some sort of inferences in a way that you can calculate or different charts on it. You can take the forecasting trends on it. You'll be able to analyze the data also based on the data that is available. But if you have got huge data, which you have to convert that, analyze that, do some sort of a complex calculations, and then there are various other tools also available. Maybe statistical tools, maybe R programming, Tableau, maybe SPSS, Python, and others, tools which are there. Maybe now artificial intelligence and machine learning is also coming onto the table so that they could use this particular information to calculate the data, work on the data, and get the analysis and the analytics also. Now, when you are using this particular data, you are not only analyzing, but you are trying to predict the future, so that in the future, that trend or that forecast, whatever it is being shown to you, it should be purposeful, it should be impactful, so that is aligned to your business outcomes, so that the decision makers will be in a better position to make the decision in the interest of the organizations. So those things is what are important for you when you are working on the HR analytics. When it comes to analytics, it is just not HR analytics. When it comes to analytics, the various stages that it moves on is the descriptive analytics, the diagnostic analytics, predictive, and the prescriptive analytics. What you do in description is what has happened historically past, what it has happened in the hindsight. So that is what you have to take care, because that is what has happened. You can't do anything about it. You are just looking at the data, whatever has happened. My attrition rate is 5% or 7% or 12%. It is going high, high, high. It has happened. Nothing can be done about it. That is what is the information you are collecting on the past data. And that has happened. You can't do anything about it. Diagnostic, why did it happen? Why is the attrition rate more? Why it has happened? People are leaving my organization. What is the reason? What are the causes? Just people are leaving, HR is not doing anything. The managers are, interviewing the staff, and they are telling HR to relieve them. Okay, HR will relieve them. No, guys, you should not do that. You go to the root cause, talk to the guys. Why are you leaving it? Maybe your talking will help the guy to get himself retained into that organization. That difference is what you have to make it. Predictive is what will happen into the future. That is the forecasting. That is, you're predicting into the future as to what the trends would be. My attrition rate will go up. My time to hire will go up. My time to hire will be neutral, or it is going down. I have made a good control over it. So that is the predictive forecasting. May or may not happen, but at least it will show you the trend. Prescriptive analytics is what can be done, what should be done actually. Prescription is nothing but changing your own policies, your rules, bringing in some organizational interventions, bringing in some sort of engagement initiatives which will help the organization a great place to work. So that is into the foresight. So from the hindsight, you get the insights and you develop your own foresights, so that you will see that your trends, whichever are showing maybe a point of concern or maybe much more controlled for you, right? So this is what you have to understand. right? Now you can have various applications in HR analytics, which shows that, these are the various functions where you can work into your organization, right? So these are the different functions which any organizations works through. Excel, as I told you, is the basic tool which is used world over. You can draw bars, line, pie, histogram. You can draw simple trends and patterns also to see that where my trend line is there. Other programming languages are there, RStudio, Tableau, SPSS, Python. So many other programs are there which you can draw. Visualization is what is a picturization of that particular data. What does this mean? That if I show you a picture, you'll be able to relate to it. If I build a story around it, you will be able to relate it. For example, a tailor going with 50 caps into the market to sell the cap. On the road, he gets tired. He rests under a tree. There were monkeys on the tree. The monkeys come down while he's sleeping. The monkeys take the cap. They go around, and the tailor gets up and sees all the caps are vanished. Only 2 or 3 caps are lying strewn around on the floor. But then he sees that some chattering on the tree. He sees the monkeys have taken the cap. Then, in a fit of anger or something to collect the cap, he throws his own cap on the ground. The monkeys feel that, oh, this is what has to be done. So they throw all the cap on the dump. The tailor collects it and goes to the market and sells the cap. Now, if you see the flow of this particular story, you will remember this thing. Similarly, when you build a visualization is nothing but is picturization, which you build into your various bars, line, pie, histogram, or various other ways in which you try to bring the data into some meaningful things, right? If you see, these are some of the pictures. There could be some data on a tabulated sheet also, but the way you are picturizing it gives you a little information as how the trend is, what exactly it is showcasing. For example, female to males ratio. There are 187 employees here, 133 employees over here. And what is male employees are less than the female employees. Notice is given during the age group. So what is the age group where people are resigning? Time to quit the job, right? So you can see different way the visualization is done, different way of representing the same data. What is my conversion rate for this particular position, or this particular position? What is the age group's turnover rate over here, right? So if you see, this is a funnel. You have narrowed down over here. 270 applications came, but only 25 hires, right? So 10% conversion was there out of the total application, right? So this is where you have to think about the visualization, which is very, very important when you think about it. So just let me take you to a new share. Okay, so I'll take you some sample data. Okay, let me know if you are able to see this particular Excel sheet. Okay, so now if you see here, I'll just delete this particular data. Now there is one of the data sheet which shows time to hire. Now let's say this time to hire is in the number of the days which are over here. Are you able to see this sheet? Yes, no?
No, sir, I can't. No.
You can't see the sheet, Excel sheet?
No.
New share, I have shared it actually. Okay, so now let me know.
Yeah, now it's open, sir. The file is open.
Now it is open, right? So now here is the data which is showing the time to hire. So let's say there were certain elements in receiving the approval for the position, time to shortlist the CVs, and it is the interview time you have taken. What exactly is the approval time, and what is the days to join the candidate has taken. So this is the total of the lead time, which is showing as 74 days. Now, if I want to take this particular data and I want to represent it in a different way so that it becomes much more meaningful for the guy to understand, I'll see this and I will represent it in this way. So if you see here, this is the chart which shows the particular thing. So you can draw as many charts as you want, depending upon, go to insert, go to recommended charts, and you will see the different charts over here. So these are the different charts, different ways you can represent it. As you want, you can represent the data, and as you want, it makes much more meaningful for the person to understand also as to what this particular legend is. And you can use this particular chart to see the access, to see the chart, and you can work on this chart. We will work on this particular detail in our sessions and all those things, right? So this makes much more meaningful for them. Even if you want to see what exactly is my projections or the predictions for this particular thing, I go to the data, I go to the forecast sheet. And it shows me the forecast. Okay, my total lead time, it is going to take on the higher side. So it shows this is the past data, the blue line, and this is the futuristic data. So if you see the forecasting and if you see the total lead time, right? So it shows you for the next quarter what exactly is the lead time. So it shows you the upper trend. So means my lead time for hiring the guy will be much more higher. So I need to bring it somewhere by doing my prescriptive analysis in the way that will help me to ensure that my lead time is not more. It is on the controllable side. It is much more, what to say? It's much more. Just one. Okay, sorry guys. Okay, so you can see the particular forecasting lines and other things, and you can see the trend line also over here on this picture. So as many charts, as many way you want it, it will help in a better position. Even if you want to create a particular chart, you can go to the insert, you can go to the chart, and then you will be better position to draw these things, right? So these are how you can see this thing. So this is what just a show over here. Now, there are challenges. Yes, you need to have a buy-in and executive support that, yes, you need to do this particular activity. And you can do within your own work also. You don't need your executive support in that way. But unless and until you want to buy some sort of a programming, you want to buy certain application tools, yes, then there is a finance involved. Otherwise, no. Find the right talent to run the HR. It means you should have the skills and the abilities to ensure that you will be in a better position to work on the HR. Yes, the data is huge. It's a sort of a dump that is available to use, but you have to see that how best I can narrow this particular data and I can make it much more qualitative. Credibility is there, reliability is there, consistency is there, and to ensure the data is available for my working. And finally, HR digitization to remain competitive in the work. When I say HR digitization, it's automating your own processes, which means that if I digitize my HR record, I will be having an integrated way of working. But if you have silos, training के लिए अलग bucket है, compensation का अलग bucket है, employee data के लिए अलग bucket है, then it's very difficult, right? But if you do a little bit of digitization, the data gets integrated into all those things, right? So this is how you will ensure that the data intake, because if Nagendra is defined in one system, he will run through the other systems as Nagendra only. He may not run as something else different. Arun Narar is defined here also and there also. But if Arun R Narar is defined somewhere else, then the analysis may show something else, right? The prediction may something else, because there it is Arun R Narahari, but here it is only Arun Narahari. So you have to understand how digitization really helps out. Yes, it is an emerging field, and people are readily getting into this particular bandwagon for a good reason, to understand how the data can be analyzed, and we can work towards the analytics part. And you can work on a majority of the functions, whether it is junior posh, whether it's a court cases, whether it's a disciplinary grievances, apart from your normal function, you can definitely work and make some informed decisions for your getting better results. And plenty of job opportunities are also available. Looking at the trend that we have got, if you see on LinkedIn and if you just type HR analyst something, you will get at least 14% of the positions related to data scientist, HR analyst, HR data analyst, or whatever those particular data specialist roles are there. So there is a huge opportunity once you get in touch with the data. But you should start loving the data. You should get familiar with the data. You should feel that data is what is very important for me to analyze and do my HR analytics. Without data, you can't work on the HR analytics part, because if the past data is available, then only you will be working into the future, because the forecast or the prediction is based on that, and the basis is this one, right? So you have to describe your data, you have to diagnose it, and you have to ensure that you are doing the correct prediction, and the future is a prescription. Like when you go to a doctor also, you tell, I've got a stomach pain. He will ask 10 questions to you. Then you start defining. He's diagnosing further. Then he'll give you a tuchi, a prick, or maybe a tablet to diagnose. And then what he's prescribing? He's prescribing those things over there. So ensuring how a doctor works, the same thing the analyst also works.